So, World Supersports, round 2. Sebastian Charpentier on pole position. We seem to have lost Michel Fabrizio. Here he comes, just wandering in, full of confidence, alongside his teammate Fabien Foret. On the outside of the front row, number 11, Sydney's Kevin Curtin, Yamaha, against the 3 Hondas. Who's going to make the vital best start here? Oh, and a terrible start for Charpentier. Yeah. Absolutely awful. Almost as bad as the one in which Fujiwara stalled. I think that's let Fabrizio get away to the front.
Looks like Fabrizio to me, Jack.
And Kevin Curtin, with 21 laps to go, has slipped the Yamaha through into second place. But Fabrizio, such a confident youth, has got the start that he wants to show his stuff here. So Fabrizio leads it ahead of Kevin Curtin and Fabien Foret. And that means that both the Tenkate Hondas, the Winston Tenkate Hondas, have some work to do here, because they're not in the front 4. I think that might be, it's not Stefan, it is Stefan Chambon, who's made one of his typical lightning starts. He's in 5th place as one of the Tenkate riders dips underneath. Oh, and a Ducati's down already. I think that might be, I'm hoping it's number, well, no, that's unfair to say that. Who is it? It's a distressed looking, it might have been Nanelli. I don't think it was Berta. And I don't think it was number 3, Van der Koerberg, was it? It might have been. Well, we'll have to wait and find out soon enough, because right now, that Kevin Curtin, who is always very, very quick round here, has certainly made a very promising start on that Yamaha Motor Germany R6. Can he stick it? Oh, but he's just... Oh, he's gone. No, he's not. He's there. Pardon. I just misread 3 reds. There's been 3 Hondas. He's right there, sandwiched between the mega bikes of Fabrizio at the front. And Fabrizio has made a storming Norman start, and that just could be what he needs to take this race by the scruff of the neck. But how much has Kevin Curtin got? What can he deliver under race setup? Kevin Curtin finished second here, remember, by an absolute whisker to wildcard Josh Brooks 12 months ago. And there he is at the front.
Yep.
Curtin drafts his way past. Good move, James.
Yeah, exactly what he did. Just came out the last corner, right behind Fabrizio, drafted him, and got past even before the turn 1.
And I think that might be Sebastian Charpentier. It is making amends pretty quickly, which he needs to do. He's moved through into 4th place ahead of Chambon. Van der Koerberg, thankfully, is still there, ahead of Fujiwara, Forrest and Brock Parks in 9th place.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how what Charpentier can do, because he'd been not head and shoulders better like he was at Qatar, but he had been significantly during most of practice better than the rest of the field. So we'll just see what he can do.
And the rider we lost was Gianluca Nanelli, as I say, a very pleasant man indeed, who speaks really ace English, but he's paid the penalty for spending all his time blubbering at our camera lens. If he stopped doing that, he might have better look on the racetrack. Kevin Curtin looking pretty impressive, and Charpentier looks to me like he's beginning to hunt those mega bike Hondas already.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you what, those boys at the back don't look very confident in this wind.
They just don't look very quick, do they?
No, they don't look very quick.
I mean, fair's fair.
These lads at the front do look quick. And Kevin Curtin.
Charpentier now, I think, through to 3rd. Yep. And who is that walking back? That's a Ducati rider. And I think it's...
That's Nanelli on his way back after that early fall.
Is it?
Fabrizio leads from, I beg your pardon, Curtin leads from Fabrizio. Charpentier
now 2nd.
Charpentier is now in 2nd place, and he is going quick.
He is.
God, that was, now I thought Fabrizio might really offer him a bit of opposition, but that on that evidence, mind you, Charpentier was very quick in the early stages at Qatar, and then suffered that front end problem, which he reckons he's sorted out. But it's Curtin who's got the fastest lap, 1:38.379, a time which isn't quick and reflects the really difficult conditions here at Phillip Island. It's difficult to see how he can got the fastest lap and be losing out to Charpentier.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, yeah. How does that work then?
But yeah, 38.3 was the quickest lap. Charpentier did a 38.5 on that lap. But now he's coming through to Chad, but Fabrizio has wakened up at the prospect of someone actually daring to go past him, as they scream through the hay sheds. The Hondas, 2nd, 3rd and 4th behind the Yamaha Germany R6. This is the first decent-looking performance we've had from Van der Koerberg. They're in 5th place, battling with Fujiwara.
We'll just see how quick this this Winston Honda is compared to the Yamaha Motor Germany Yamaha.
He had a big moment there coming out of turn 11 that lifted him out of his seat, Charpentier. Just a little warning, I would say. Fabien Foret pestering his teammate Fabrizio as they come over the crest of the rise there. All of them absolutely evenly matched on top speed, with that 3/4 crosswind coming right to left as they go down the straight.
And this time Foret gets a quickest lap. The fastest lap of the race now is 38.2.
Curtin 38.48, Charpentier 38.28, Fabrizio 38.56. And this is turning into a bit of a belter here. Kevin Curtin, I'm really impressed with the way he can ride this track. I mean, he can be quick in other places as well, but he's always been very impressive here. Incidentally, race winners here in the year 2000, there was a guy called James Whittam won it for Belgada Yamaha.
Yes.
Very fine win, almost from start to finish, I think.
Yes, inclement weather conditions there. And I think the following year I'm actually leading it again and crashed.
I know, look,
MG.
You don't like me reminding you of that, and I have very deliberately not mentioned it.
Yeah, not good. No, I'm not bothered. You mention what you want. My mistake. And that's Charpentier through.
And the man who won after you crashed was Kevin Curtin.
It was.
Riding then for a Honda. Andrew Pitt won in 2002, Chris Vermeulen 2003, Josh Brooks 2004. And in 2005, well, any one of these guys could be there, because Charpentier has stolen the lead ahead of Kevin Curtin and Michel Fabrizio. Curtin now, he's testing the R6 to see what he can do, drafting Charpentier down the straight, and he's got him just.
The Yam's quick, every bit as quick as the Honda.
And Sebastian looked like he wanted to dip into Douans then, but he was done, wasn't he? He couldn't quite.
Curtin just didn't run wide enough. I think Charpentier was waiting for Curtin to run a little bit wide and go up the inside, but he didn't give him that opportunity.
The front four now just beginning to get clear of Fujiwara and Van der Gorberg. So Fujiwara said he was desperate to win this race, but he's just not quite proving to have the setup to live with these boys. Charpentier,
that's Foret going straight on there. I think as his teammate Fabrizio came across the front of him, actually that's what messed him up there. And that'll take some coming back from.
So scalding action at the front of World Supersports here, exclusively live on British Eurosport. We've got at the front of the field at the moment Sébastien Charpentier, 32-year-old Frenchman, with Michel Fabrizio trying to get underneath the veteran from Sydney, Australia, who never seems to be, I must admit, he's a guy that you think of as being a bit of a kid, Kevin Curtin, always cheerful, always seemed to be happy-go-lucky and enjoying himself.
He always looked dead old though. he's always looked dead old, I think.
A bit of a tendency to do kind of silly highlights in his hair, which always gives away a guy who's trying to look.
Yeah, midlife crisis. He'll be buying young person's clothes next.
But Kevin Curtin putting in a sterling young man's ride here, and once again he pulls out very early this time, and I think perhaps too early. I think Charpentier might have him, and Fabrizio's there as well. Charpentier does maintain his station. Now that surprised me how early he pulled out of the slipstream there, James.
Yeah, what are you going to do? You come out of the last corner too quick. I mean, it's either shut off and stay in the slipstream, or yeah, there's not a great deal you're going to do there.
Sorry, it hadn't occurred to me that might be the case, that he'd got a real good exit to turn 12.
And Foret's not giving up, he's actually back with this bunch now.
When have you ever seen Foret give up?
No, that's true. Never.
I'll tell you what, Fujiwara has broken through into 5th place, and he's beginning to claw these guys back.
And Fabrizio having a little bit of a go now.
The fastest man on that lap by 0.3 of a second was Katsuaki Fujiwara, number 21, presently in 5th place.
Yep.
There he is, he's now well in the picture, he's leaving Van der Gorberg astray. I'm interested as to why Van der Gorberg went to oh, and there goes Fabrizio. Fabrizio gets underneath Kevin Curtin, and he's now through into 2nd place. Ooh, in a moment for... Look at that. Fujiwara is really very clinical across the top of Lukey Heights. He looks impressive right now.
Curtin's a very hard rider, actually. Riding with him, he's not dangerous, but he is very, very hard rider. You can pass him and he'll not sit behind you, sussing you out. He'll just have a go straight back when he can, how he can. I had a bit
and
of
he's done it right now.
I had a bit of a tussle with him round Sugo in Japan one year for a few laps, and it was an hard man. He was an hard man to race with because he just was desperate to get back in front of you. Instead of sitting there thinking, right, I'll just suss this guy out and get him on the last lap, he was desperate just to have a go straight back, as Mugridge was early on. But then Mugridge kind of backed off and sussed it out a little bit.
Number 11, Kevin Curtin. This is his 43rd World Supersports race. He's had 4 podiums, 2 race victories in his time. He's been in and out, of course. He was back home in Aussie 2 years ago, missed a season then, and returned last season with some success. And once again, look at Fujiwara. Where's he come from? Fujiwara's fastest lap of the race, 1:38.2. He's lapping at least half a second quicker than the guys in front of him right now. This bunch chewing lumps off one another, and Katsuaki Fujiwara's turned it into a 10-wheeler.
Yeah, it's not the quickest lap of the race. Charpentier's dipped into the 37s early on. It's actually Fujiwara's quickest lap of the race, so. And
beg your pardon, quickest on that lap.
Yeah,
as well.
and it is quicker than the people who are around him, and certainly in front of him.
And another man who's travelling pretty quickly in 8th place at the moment is Brock Parks. Although he's so far back, it's not going to make a lot of difference. He's about just under 10 seconds behind the leaders, but it certainly will make difference to what places he can pick up.
Yeah, this is definitely a 5-way battle for the lead now, Jack.
That looks like a wonderful section of the track to enjoy riding round. That turn 11 exiting and going into 12.
Yeah, it's one of them circuits, Jack, where if you're going good, it's all brilliant. It's absolutely so flowing, mostly fast sections, couple of slow corners. But if you're just not confident, especially in the front end, it's a circuit that you will hate. It's a real scary place if you're not confident, which is why there's good riders that haven't got a setup, not just struggling, but really struggling. If you're not confident, it's a place you really don't want to be at.
Well, at the moment, Charpentier, considering he had front-end problems, which he does say he thinks testing has finally got ironed out, he looks pretty confident round here at the moment, doesn't he?
Yeah, chatter's always a problem. If you're having chatter problems, it is always a problem round Phillip Island.
So the Castrol-backed Winston Tenkate Honda leads from Yamaha Motor Germany's R6 with Kevin Curtin, followed by the Italian Megabike team's Michel Fabrizio, his teammate Fabian Fore, and right behind Fore, the threatening figure of Katsuaki Fujiwara, number 21, the 30-year-old from Shimonoseki. I said that quickly.
Easy for you to say that one.
That was his.
I'd leave that up to you.
That is 5th race win of his World Supersports career for the Cat, who's another, of course, we tend to forget he had that kind of half season where he created mayhem in the 500 GP,
yep.
Didn't he?
He had some horrendous crashes. Yeah. I think he still holds the record for being eyesight of the highest height in the air ever. He had some big crashes, and then a year in Superbike, but he only really seems to have gelled with the Supersport class, and he really has gelled with it. Took him 6 months, but he's got going.
I think he's one of these guys who you tend to think perhaps got shoveled into Motorcycle Grand Prix a bit early.
Yeah, surely, yeah.
And here he comes, trying to get up the inside, but I tell you what, that Megabike Honda's quick, and Fore's able to block him off going into turn 1 as the sun comes out once again. This battle, I think, is going to go right away to the flag. 21 lapper here. And on that lap, Charpentier 37.89, Curtin 37.9, 38 dead for Fabrizio, 38 dead for Fore, 37.9 for Fujiwara.
Yeah, there's only 0.2 of a second in those 5.
Fujiwara, who I'd like to call Fuji Gas after the wonderful, absolutely incomparable Takehisa Fujinami, the reigning World Trials champion, who after 5 years of finishing second to Dougie Lampkin finally took the title deservedly in 2004, has always had the nickname Fuji Gas because of his throttle happy technique.
Throttle jockey.
A throttle jockey, that's right. And Fujiwara at the moment, though, having progressed right up to the leaders, can't pass. Dropping down into that sort of the steep hollow, much steeper than it looks on our camera. James, what is the tricky thing? We've seen Andrew Pitt high side hard there this weekend, and you if you remember, had sort of dragged yourself out a 2-second advantage in 3/4 of a lap when you dropped it there. What is the tricky bit about coming over Lukey Heights and then the drop down into the hairpin?
You're just breaking downhill, and going in there is a little bit of adverse camber because you're going downhill so steep into it. Like you say, it doesn't do it justice on television how steep it is going down into MG. But nothing essentially. It's a slow corner. Consequently, you're always going to get a few high-sides out of it, and it's downhill breaking into it. And it's one of the corners on the track where you've got it in your mind that is a good place to pass. So you're always, it's always going to be a corner that there's a little bit of action going on, especially in the later part of the race if you're racing with somebody. So, but nothing essentially. There's good grip and just a little bit of adverse camber, really. And
here comes
Fujiwara,
Fujiwara.
he has to get past the two in front of him, otherwise he is going to get held up. And as you can see, Charpentier is, for my money, getting away slightly at the front, although he has taken Curtin with him.
He's taken Curtin with him, so Fujiwara just knows he's got to nail the mega bike. So he's got Fabian Fore. Can he now do something about the young Italian ahead of him? Bike number 84, the 20-year-old from Frascati. What a great place to come from on the mega bike Honda.
That's a pizza, is it not?
No, it's a very fine dry white wine.
That's the one.
A pizza. It might be a pizza in Huddersfield. It certainly isn't in Italy.
No, that's calzone, I think I'm thinking of, isn't it? That's a big pie-shaped one.
37.7, the fastest lap. So Sebastian Charpentier is trying to break the chasers, but he hasn't managed to break that fella right behind him, Kevin Curtin. His teammate, though, desperate to get through into third place. Curtin, position second. I think he knows that.
Yeah, I don't think they need to tell him a lot, do they?
As ever, of course, there's a terrific crowd here at Phillip Island enjoying the action in World Superbike and World Supersport. Fujiwara, though, not able to make the move on Fabrizio that he was able to make on the previous lap with Fabian Fore.
And to be honest, he needs to make it, and he needs to make it fairly soon.
You can hear the bark of the now rather distant Selmat Ducati of Jürgen van der Gorberg, still holding station there in 6th place. Johan Stiegfeld is 7th, Brock Parks is 8th, but not making the progress I expected him to, 0.2 of a second behind the Swede at the moment. Stefan Chambon is 9th, 10th is Christophe Kogan, 11th is the Finn Lars Lato, ahead of Javi Forres, David Garcia, Miskovsky and Skopek, with Antonello just outside the points. And
just when Fujiwara's lining Fabrizio up, Forres nabbed him back for 4th. I'm not happy with that.
That's the problem, isn't it, I guess, when you're focusing on someone in front?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oof, look at them, absolutely side by side. Who's going to be first into Duans? Fabrizio again tries to get underneath, and again Fabian. It doesn't look as if at first as if he's going to go across, but he kind of waits, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He did actually go straight across. He just waits till he's in front, so it's not dangerous, and then just goes straight across the front of his teammate.
Out of the final turn then, he still has the advantage as Charpentier. There's proof of the fact he's gone quicker again, this time with only a whisker, but a whisker nonetheless. 137.438. Here comes Fore underneath Fabrizio, but he runs wide. Fabrizio tries to cut back underneath as they go round towards Siberia. Has he nabbed it back, or has Fabian got the inside line? Whoa, no, Fabrizio is there again. So Fabrizio back into 3rd, Fabian Fore 4th, Katsuaki Fujiwara right with him. Formation flying in 5th. Oh, these lads are really giving. I'll tell you what, James, what are you thinking if you're sitting in the Megabike Honda garage? You don't want the two of them wiping one another out.
Yeah, Fujiwara trying to go down the outside at Lucky Heights to get him on the inside going into MG. That's a classic. Just like I said, it is one of the only places, if you can set it up round Lucky Heights, it is one of the only places, MG, where you've got a clean passing opportunity, demonstrated perfectly by Fujiwara there. Set him up a corner before.
Under the battle raging then as we come on to the finishing straight, and at the moment Fabrizio is there in 3rd, 4th is Fujiwara, 5th is Fore. And finally, it looked as if Fujiwara had made it. Yes, he gets through, but Fore, would you believe, almost snuck underneath the two of them. And Fabrizio goes from 3rd to 5th, just like that.
These lads are having fun. These races, 21 laps, they'll just seem like 5 laps because you're concentrating, your mind's not wandering on other things, you're not thinking how if people are catching, you're concentrating on what's going on around you every single lap. And Curtin still with Charpentier, right with him.
And on the last lap, he was 1/10 of a second quicker.
Yep, now that's Charpentier's attempt failed at leaving him. He knows it's going to be going to the finish now unless something happens to either one of them.
I thought early on in the race, when the sun burned through for a minute, that would that be a point where Kevin Curtin might have thought, God, I wish I'd gone with a smoked visor, because he's got the clear visor on. Can that become a problem if the sun unexpectedly bursts out?
No, I don't think so, no. The way they'd be concentrating now, it won't make any difference. It's not that bright, it's a little bit hazy anyway. And then when they went out, it was really dark.
No, I was thinking back to when the sun really burst through, whether that would trouble him then. Coming over the top of Lucky Heights there, he had a beautiful drift on that Yamaha.
That's one of the classic shots if you've raced here that you need either a front on or best as a rear on, and it's just you and a bike and the track, and that's it. And sometimes a drift on, sometimes a heat haze out the exhaust. It's one of the classic shots you need in your office, that one.
Have you got one?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Who took it for you?
I don't know whose picture it is, but it's a cracking picture. You can't even tell it's me much. It's just a lovely shot.
Fabien Fore trying to tuck underneath Fujiwara, but Fujiwara does as Fore does to other people in the same situation and just drives on across the front. Fabian's wild, isn't he? He takes up any section of track he feels like at any given time on any given lap.
At least he stopped looking round. This is a man who spent more time looking round than he did looking forward.
You're right, actually. He really has got.
He has stopped. Yeah, he had to do, because he made a couple of really big mistakes just after looking round. And whether the looking back did it or not, it looked like he wasn't concentrating so good.
Well, he's certainly well focused on that man in front of him right now. In fact, it looked like he almost clipped the rear wheel. These are the leaders, Charpentier and Curtin. They're just about 100 or 250 metres ahead of the battle raging for 3rd place. And once again, Sebastian trying to just work some air between himself and the tenacious Kevin Curtin.
And it looks like to me he might have done that.
And there's proof of the gaps on laps 14, 15 and 16. Has he chosen the right time to do it? Could Sebastian Charpentier, riding bike number 16, be headed for his 2nd ever World Superbike victory? Sorry, World Supersports victory. Do beg your pardon. That's an interesting point, because I can't remember where his previous Supersports win was. Answers on a postcard, please.
You've got enough pieces of paper, Jack. You must know it.
Just send it to Philip and wow, look at the way that Tenkate Honda drafted past Fore, but Fore's back under braking. And that's what he's like, isn't he, the ferret?
Yep, straight back at you.
Nibbling straight back, even when you think you've got him by drafting him down the straight. Whoop, he pops back inside you. He's like a sort of annoying little mongrel who won't go away.
He is.
So he's back into 3rd place for Megabike. Oh, I tell you what, Katsuaki Fujiwara's got a great riding style. He just looks full of menace all over that bike. So these howling 600cc inline 4s. All these 3, of course, Hondas. Ahead of them, the battle between Yamaha and Honda. At the moment, Honda has the advantage. And it looks as if the gap between Charpentier and Fujiwara, well, you would expect that would be getting slightly wider rather than slightly tighter. Now nearly over 8.5 seconds between them. And Charpentier's last lap, 37.4, took 0.6 of a second out of Kevin Curtin. Could it be Sebastian is going to get that 2nd victory here in Australia? Katsuaki Fujiwara, James, seems to be able to hold a slightly tighter line when he needs to. Does that mean his tyres are in slightly better shape? He doesn't have any grip problems that you can see?
No, I don't think. I think these three are almost in the same boat. He does seem to be able to get out of the last turn onto the start and finish fairly quick. But there again, Forey can just slipstreaming right back, and there's enough distance in the straight left for him to get back in front by turn 1.
That would indicate, you would think, that Katsuaki's got the advantage where it matters when you're talking
over
about
the
finish line.
Yeah.
So somehow, number 99, Forey's got to be able to do something about that before he reaches the last turn on the final lap. This is Charpentier.
Charpentier has definitely put some distance into Curtin now. Looks like about a second that to me, maybe slightly more.
And it is, it's 1.3.
It is
1.3 at the end of lap 18. So with 3 laps to go, could it be that the likeable Frenchman is finally going to earn himself victory after leading so handsomely in the early stages of round 1 and losing out in the end to teammate Fujiwara?
Yeah, with a huge front tyre problem. Yeah. I mean, it slowed him up so much. He was so much quicker in the early stages, then it was like he didn't have a front tyre on the bike at the end. He was going so slow.
Well, certainly he doesn't seem to be having that problem right now as he ripples downhill into the MG corner. And here comes Fabien Forey backing into MG. Where is Fabrizio?
I think he's in front of them.
And Michel Fabrizio might have suddenly put it right over his more experienced colleagues, unless that's a...
Ooh. I don't know, that's a back marker.
I think that might be a back marker. I don't think it's Fabrizio. And I think we may have lost Michel Fabrizio somewhere around the back of the track on that lap as they come past us now. It's Charpentier leading, Curtin second, third place Fabien Forey, fourth place for Fujiwara. No sign of Fabrizio. No sign of Fabrizio at all. So we've lost him on that lap. So it's down to a 2-man squabble now over third place and the final podium place here. Surely a victory if his concentration stays sound and his bike stays in one piece for Sebastian Charpentier. Second place for Kevin Curtin. Up into fifth place now. Jürgen van der Goldberg goes past us, just 25 seconds behind the leader. And then Johan Stigfeldt sixth. Brock Parks is up to seventh as a result of Fabrizio's misfortune. Stefan Chambon 8th, Laus Leito of Finland 9th, and Christoph Kogang rounds out the top 10, but no sign at all of the second Megabike Honda. You didn't see him go down anywhere in the background, did you see, James?
No.
There's bound to be some sharp-eyed youths back home in front of their television cameras.
They've seen it all.
They've seen it all, yes. And they'll be throwing peanuts at the screen saying, "Blimey neck, are you guys blind or what?" Now, Charpentier, he may be no great stylist, but he's looking confident right now.
Yeah, he has all year, to be fair. He's looked like the man to beat all year.
And we know that the Winston Ten-Carter team, the World Supersports Championship, still matters a lot to them. They want to continue their 3-year dominance of it, which has seen Fabien Forey, Chris Vermeulen and Carl Mugridge take back-to-back World Supersport titles. And into his final lap, Sebastian Charpentier could turn out to just be a pretty French rider for Ten-Carte Honda. Finished third in the Bordeaux back in 2000. In 2003 he was winner of the French Open Supersports Champion. Just missed a podium in the last round of World Supersports in 2003 as well.
Yeah, Charpentier's done a fair bit of endurance racing, and endurance racing traditionally and still is quite important to the French, and a lot of the good French riders have got a good grounding in some endurance racing.
So Charpentier headed for victory here in Phillip Island.
Yep, stuck to his task, even when under pressure from Curtin, didn't panic.
And he's still lapping consistently quicker, way quicker than anybody else. He's just leaving the rest now. So certainly no front-end problems for him in the closing stages this time around, as he comes out of turn 11, heads for turn 12. The 32-year-old from La Rochefoucauld heads for the checkered flag to take his second ever World Supersports victory. And that will put him in the lead in the World Supersports Championship, to the delight of the Dutch 10-carter team. Second place goes to Kevin Curtin, and third place goes to Megabike's Faggy and Fabian Fore by an absolute whisker from Katsuaki Fujiwara, who'd done everything he could, hounded him all the way, but in the end couldn't do it. Charpentier wins. Curtin comes up sportingly alongside. At least he's put the R6 well and truly back into the frame and given the Australian fans something to cheer here.